Okay, today is Wednesday, and I decided to step outside my comfort zone and see if I can make a man card for a man's birthday. So this is what we're doing today, and the card base is soft suede. This is the inside. I want to tell you what I used on this card. I used the Subtle Embossing Folder for the front panel. This is very vanilla. This is Crumb Cake. And then I have some early espresso. I stamped the pine cones and the branches in, well, the pine cones are in early espresso and the branches are in Mossy Meadow. And for those I used Painted Seasons. I used the Framelits and the stamp set. You can get the stamp set free along with the it's called Painted Seasons Designer Series paper. These you can get free. If you already have this, you can get this for free. Together it's a $100 purchase. You get this for free. Just the paper, it's $50 purchase. And then you can buy the framelits separate. And for the sentiment here and on the inside, I used Itty Bitty Birthdays. It's a clean stamp set. And then for the little dots that you can see on here, I stamped that in Crumb Cake. And I used the Waterfront Stamp Set, and I used this image right here. And then I excuse me, stamped the envelope. I just stamped one of the pine cones and a little bit of the branch, and when I stamped that, I made a little I don't know what to call that, cover for it, a mask, so that I could stamp just a little part of the leaf, or the branch rather. Okay, and then I wanted to let you know that this piece here, which is very vanilla, Stampin' Up! Did not have this framelit, so I used a Spellbinders framelit that I had here, and it's the second to the largest one. But if you don't have that, and maybe perhaps you have these, which we don't have them anymore, it's the stitched Seasons Framelits, you could certainly use that one. Would work on there if you have that one. If you don't, you could use the rectangular stitched framelits and just do rectangles. We also at one point had these lots of labels framelits. If you happen to have that, you could use the largest one of those, and that would work too. So those are your options. Like I said, you could just cut a rectangle and use a rectangle for that. I just happen to like the way that looked. What I want to make sure and tell you that celebration is still going on, and if you sign up as a demonstrator under me, I'm sorry, I fell a couple of weeks ago and my back still hurts. So anyway, during celebration, I was going to have the drawing tomorrow, but I decided to run it through to the end of the celebration. And what I'm doing is giving away a set of these rectangular stitched framelits. All you have to do, sign up as a demonstrator under me during celebration. For $99 you get $175 worth of product and your name in the drawing 3 times. If you don't want to sign up as a demonstrator and you just want to purchase product from me, for every $50 you purchase, you get your name put in the drawing, plus you can earn free products during celebration. And I have a host code. Make sure you use that if you're going to order. Let's see. But there's a lot of the celebration items are no longer available, but here's some of them. Here's the Painted Seasons paper, Share What You Love embellishment kit, Scattered Sequins dynamic folder, mini pizza boxes, pearlized doilies, rich raspberry ribbon, Petal Promenade DSP, and delightfully detailed paper. These are all, each item, you could pick one with a $50 order. And then here are the some items that are for sale. And right now that it started March 1st, we're going to be using this Seasons Framelits die set on this card. There's one for the Lilies, Call Me Cupcake, and the Hop Around, and then there's a punch, and then there's a stamp set called More Than Words that coordinates. I think that's everything that I needed to tell you before we get started. Paper Pumpkin's birthday. You got until March 10th to sign up for Paper Pumpkin for the month of March. It's their 6th anniversary, and they're going to have, instead of just 1 stamp set in the box, there will be 2. So you get a free one. Okay, let's make this card. What I did was, this is soft suede, I believe. I'll have all the products and dimensions listed below my video, so you can look those up. But I'm pretty sure this is soft suede, and it's 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4 for the base. Okay, all these pieces. Here's another piece of soft suede, and it is 4 3/8 and 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and I embossed this with the Subtle Embossing Folder just because I wanted to. Okay, this is for the inside. I stamped and die cut a bunch of the pine cones and branches to use on this. And the first thing I did was I stamped Happy Birthday on, this is Crumb Cake, and I stamped it with Early Espresso. This is Early Espresso. This is 3/4 of an inch. You're going to trim it so. And this one is 7/8. So first thing we're going to do is glue this piece to this. I don't know. I much prefer making foo-foo flowery cards over man cards, but I thought, well, I've got my husband and some male friends at church that sometimes we like to give birthday cards to, so it's always nice to have a card that's for a man. I have a friend that I've known all my life. He just turned 91 lives just down the road, and I wish I would have had one of these cards for him, but he got a foo-foo card, because that's what I had. He liked it, so that's all that matters. Okay, then I took this piece for the front panel, and I took these dots in my crumb cake, and I just randomly stamped these dots all over the front of this card. They're very light dots, and this is very vanilla, so I don't remember what size I cut it out, but and then I went ahead and did it to the inside panel as well. You can get this piece out of probably a 4 by, I don't know, 5-inch piece of very vanilla. I'm doing this, excuse me, just because I didn't like it plain. Okay, and I took a drink of my tea here. Okay. Okay, then I took my sponge dauber and sponged around these two pieces. When you do this, it gives it kind of a little bit of, like you're doing a border or an extra piece of cardstock underneath without doing cardstock underneath. And using this color ages, you can kind of add some aging look to your project. So that's why I did this. Oops, runaway sponge dauber. I keep forgetting that I need to use a envelope opener thing, and I always use my finger and I cut it. Paper cuts hurt. And I'll do this first. So that's the Band-Aid, and the sponge dauber does not fit real well, but I don't want to bleed all over my project. I discovered a way to upload my videos a little bit faster, so I'll be able to do more than just 2 a week. If you're wondering what this little symbol is right here, it's a QR code, and you can download a QR reader right directly to your iPhone or your iPad. I'm not sure about other phones. I have an iPhone, and if you read that, it takes you to my home page on my website, and then you go to choose shop now, and it takes you into the place where you can order. Okay, then I set that aside so I don't get these things confused. I took my happy birthday and I centered it on here, and I just glued it down. Glued it to the front. And what I tried to do is center the happy birthday in the center of this. And I didn't put glue all the way out to the edges because I'm going to trim it to shape like this. So let's see if we can get this centered. There. Looks pretty good. Let's turn it over. Oh, yeah, that looks good. So once you get that on there, you can take scissors and then just trim around whatever shape you have on your label. I just happen to have a little pointy shape there. Yeah. And then, once you get that done, then you're going to put it on the front of your panel. And I just glued it down because I'm going to take this front panel, this whole piece, and put this piece on dimensionals. So we're just going to glue this front panel, or this label, to the front of the card, or this panel here. And we're just going to center it. So, liquid glue helps you look at that and get it centered. Okay, once you get that glued on there, then you're going to take your glue dots, and because this is a big, big panel, you're going to need, I think I put 9 on the back of this, just to make sure it didn't sag. You could certainly use your edges and do around it, but I decided just to do it this way. I thought we were going to have more snow. We had I went to the post office this morning and I'm going, it is snowing. I don't want any more snow. I didn't like, we only have electric heat here, and I really didn't like the look of my last electric bill. It was a little bit ugly. Let's make sure I got all of those. I don't want to forget any. I have a tendency to forget. To take some of those covers off. So then what we're going to do is center that on the front of our card. Okay, then we're going to take some of our, I stamped this is Mossy Meadow, and I used this branch, and then I used the pine cone, and I did the pine cone in early espresso. So I used 2 of the branches on the front, and 1 pine cone, and then I used 1 pine cone and 1 branch on the inside. So we'll move those out of the way. So what I did was I put this one up, put this up on dimensionals. I'll do this one first. And I just used 2. 1 here, 1 there. And then I love my bows, so the man card is getting a bow. So I used this, it's called, let's see, Braided Linen Trim. And I just kind of went around this branch. tied a knot first because I didn't want it coming off. And then I made a bow. You could certainly just leave it in a knot if you want, but I thought it kind of set the card off a little bit. It needed something besides nothing. It's kind of a plain card, but you know, most men are just like, whatever. My husband, I show him my cards. Oh, that's cute. And then he goes on with whatever it was he was doing. So, he's funny. And then I took a glue dot. These are from my paper pumpkin. I'm just using them up. And I put it behind this bow so that it wouldn't slip off of there. Because it could easily just slip off. But this way, it's on there. Come off. There. There. So now it's on there. And it's not going to just slip off. Okay, then I took my 3 pieces here and kind of decided how I wanted to put them together, and so I just kind of did like that and like that. And so what I'm going to do is glue these together. Now you can cut off these stems, which I think I will do that, so that they won't show. If you don't get the pine cone clear over the top of them, I didn't want them showing. So you could cut those off if you want. So I just kind of arranged it sort of like so. That. And then I took my little pine cone and put a little bit of glue on the bottom of it. Up. Of course, as you know, I end up getting glue everywhere. And then just kind of put it on there, like so. Just like that. Oops. And hope it stays in place. So once you get your pine cone on there, then flip it over and you're going to put Stampin Dimensionals on the back of this. And I used 4. I used 1 at the top of the pine cone, 1 at the top of each of the stems, and then 1 in the middle. I'm trying to make some fairly simple cards that don't take too long but look good. So then you can just kind of arrange that sideways, just like that. And then I just glued the inside panel to the inside of the card. Centered it in there. It says you're not old, you're just older. I like that sentiment. And then I took these things, cut the stem off. I don't want it showing through underneath my pine cone. And put it on there just so. And then I took my pine cone and glued it on there. Just like that. And your card's done. So there's man card for you. there you go. I hope you have a lovely day. Remember my host code. Here's my website. And remember the drawing. And I will be back again tomorrow. Thank you so much, and God bless you today.